StiltzkinKupo84 with Cat and Fam Gamer TV, and welcome to my Chocobo Hot and Cold Extravaganza. I found 7 here. This is pretty common. I just jumped on about 5 minutes ago, and I've done this for the 3rd time now. I haven't gotten an 8 prize victory yet. Kind of bugs me. I want that sweet, please go away, loot. I guess it's more experience, just more points in general. I want that please go away points. I feel like this slog is going to be a lot shorter, though, than was the 10,000 monster slog. Wow, this long quay just won't get found. But especially since I can see where my beak level's at and everything, it'll hurt less. It'll feel shorter because I'll know, I'll have some kind of a roadmap to go by as to why it's taken this long, and you can't really check how many battles you fought in the menu. Oh, here, I got my first 8 prize game. So that's awesome. Need to stop. I'll go out of business if you keep doing it, Kupo. Give me that special bonus. Yeah. Can't carry any more Phoenix Pinions. 40 points? I thought it was like 200. Oh, whatever. I'll take it. I rose a beak level. So yeah, on a good game of hot and cold, I can raise 1 whole beak level. On average, it's taken me about 2 or 3 games to raise a beak level here. I'm pretty sure I've risen 3 levels. I'm that long quay. Well, all of these tightly packed chocographs, or well, not chocographs, but treasures. All these tightly packed treasures are working out in my favor. $49, yeah. So I've already picked up 5 levels since I started, you guys. So I mean, the really successful game that I had just now kind of offset that, but that's an average of 1 beak level per 2 games. And here I am putting him out of business again. If I keep being this successful, guys, I can probably skew that to a beak level per game. 96 points. Wow. I kind of wonder if the amount of seconds you have on the clock when he tells you to go away factors into how much that bonus is that he gives you at the end. Ooh, I found that on accident. I am tripping over treasures, guys. What is it? Where? Give me that long quay. Come on. Really? Just to take me down a notch. Right. I was riding high for a minute there. I don't even want it now. So disgusted. what was up here? Still not a bad run. Ooh, there it is. Yep, I knew it would be down there one of these times. Down in that deep little hole. I know it's down there, but it's so touchy as to whether or not you got the right spot, you know? I ran him out of business again. I'm on fire tonight, guys. I don't know what it was, but the last time that I was here, I was performing terribly. 192 bonus. Wow, that's more than the 92 bonus. That was 2 levels in one. Guys, this might be pretty fast. 2 levels in one go? Shoot, I may have time to start on the next game. I have 1 vote for Final Fantasy 12 on the table. What's available is 7 and 8 and 10 and 10-2. 12, obviously. Type O, Final Fantasy Type O, I have. And I picked up a pack of Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 from the old PS2 days. So, those are pretty much what everybody has to vote on. I got my 1 vote for 12, and so unless you guys want to overturn that vote, I guess the next game pretty much could be 12. Oh shoot, I didn't get that last one. So I've been thinking of what I can do for a run of 12 that would be unique and challenging for me, because I have only beat this game once. Like, I've only 100% completed it one time, but I've gotten pretty much at the door. I mean, I've gotten to Belfenheim and over 40 hunts and all the way through the Necro Nabudis and the Nebius Deadlands multiple times. Like, I pretty much stop at Belfenheim on most story playthroughs, and like, Geru Vegan is sort of a very new place for me whenever I walk in there. Even though I have beat the game, I beat it when it came out back in 2006. So, I mean, I'm an old vet in the game, Final Fantasy 12. And that being the case, I'll need like a special challenge run, and I was thinking I could go, like, I could do all mages, or I could do, I could limit to one type of armor, or I could do, you know, just all melee, or I thought of a few different things, and none of them seem super challenging. Like I did a themed run just a while back, which was a partial playthrough of Final Fantasy XII, not a full playthrough, and it was not streamed. So I technically have trophies on PS4 for Final Fantasy XII already, and I believe, I don't know if I even got to Belfenheim. I know I got to Arcadia. Pretty sure I got to Arcadia. So, I'll be. I think on that last run it was like a black mage run. I wanted to do everybody as a black mage because I had heard that the spell queue was taken out, and so the spells go a lot faster. And I thought, oh, I want to play with a party that accentuates that, and so I can get a feel for how cool it actually is to be a mage now in Final Fantasy XII versus how it used to be. And I thought, this might give me a chance to summon more Eidolons, because the other thing that was made, I guess, changed for the Zodiac Age was obviously the separation of magic and, what are those called? Magic and, what are those, mist charges? Yeah, so mist charges are different from magic now. And, I thought that would get me to use more espers, but it didn't, because I picked all mages, and the mages are so awesome in this game that, like, I was killing everybody in one hit anyway, so it was like overkill to do the espers. So, I think in this playthrough I'm going to do a different challenge. It's going to be a lot more challenging. I'm going to do only one-handed weapons. So everybody has to have a shield equipped, and everybody has to have a one-handed weapon equipped. That means no monks, because they're unarmed. That means no two-handed weapons. That means no mage staffs. So I'll really be underpowered. Like, I'll have access to maces, I'll have access to measures. Yes, I will probably have one knight, so I'll have access to swords and the Deathbringer. But yeah, that'll probably be my only overpowered person. I'm gonna be I'm planning on doing a Shikari white mage, throwing that in there for maximum tank. So I'll have daggers. Let's see, daggers, maces. Oh, right, axes. Hammers and axes will be a thing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna bring a foe breaker. I mean, technically it fits within the rules of the challenge, but I'm not real big on foe breakers, so I don't know if I want to bring one. But yeah, I think there's only 8. There's really only 5 classes that use one-handed weapons, and if I extrapolate for, mage-type characters that I would be willing to mix in but just not use any of the staves or anything, then that inflates it out to about 8 classes worth of, 8 jobs that I can mix. But really, only, let's see, only the knight the Foe Breaker, the okay, so Shikari will give you some of the shields. It won't give you, like, probably the last 3 shields, I think, are shut off from the Shikari grid. And so, like, the Knight has all the shields on License Grid, and the Foe Breaker does too. Let's see. I'm trying to think of Final Fantasy XII while playing Final Fantasy IX, so it's getting me a little foggy here, but I don't have any paper in front of me either, really. I've written down a lot of the jobs. Oh, Machinist fits in. We're not going to be using... I'm not going to be using any guns, but measures later on. I think a Shikari Machinist might work pretty cool. Or like a Red Mage Machinist. Either way. Because I was thinking, like, what is probably the hardest mixture to play? And I thought, you know, anything with a Machinist that only uses measures. You know, if you deny access to guns. And I think Shikari Machinist would be really hard to do. Another 128 points. Wow, wonderful. So, you know, I think this will be like a super unoptimized party. Like, probably the Knight that I bring along will probably be the only character that's really super optimized. Well, I might bring a Red Mage, Black Mage, and just not use any staves. I could do that. I could still get some sweet ardor going. And it probably will be unboosted ardor, but, I mean, ardor nonetheless, right? Time Mage is someone who I want to bring along. That's a class that I want to use. And I believe that's one of the classes that gives all the shields. But obviously I can't use any of the weapons because Time Mage is all about the crossbows. So there will be basically all of the mage classes besides the Red Mage will be purely for the skill set, the magic licenses, and really not for the equipment. Well, I suppose unless you count armor. So I'll get a lot of mystic armor from these mage classes, and that'll be cool. That'll help. Definitely the Knight. So I'm thinking Knight. Thinking White Knight or Time Knight or Red Knight. I really don't want to do a Black Mage Knight. That's the only combination I'm not really interested in. But a Black Mage Knight is sort of like Steiner. Or is a Black Mage Knight like well, okay, so Steiner kind of has like Black Mage Knight in him. He kind of has Foe Breaker Knight. I mean, if we're just going by, you know, game mechanics and theoretical class line comparison. Excuse me. Whew. If we're going by theoretical class comparisons and things like that, I mean, Steiner sort of has all the breaks. He sort of has like all the black magics. He doesn't really have any healing, so he wouldn't be a Red Mage. He wouldn't be a White Knight or a Red Knight. He would be either a Black Knight or a Foe Breaker Knight. Zidane would just be pure Shikari and what do we say? What's a two-handed sword? Ulan, I guess, but he doesn't really wear heavy armor, so what's a two-hand, like monk? He would be like a monk. Shikari monk, I guess. He's got a lot of hit points and he's got a lot of power. And he, you know, the double swords, those are like sort of pole weapons, right? So I guess Zidane would be a monk Shikari. You know, if you were doing Final Fantasy X, you could make a Bushi foe breaker, and that would be Auron. Because he's got all those breaks, and he's got the samurai and everything. That would be sweet, a Bushi foe breaker. But yeah, I guess I would just probably take on the challenge of making sure everybody is equipped with shields, making sure everybody has one-handed weapons, because really the only weapon that I see being a total cheese for that type of a challenge is the Deathbringer, you know. But once you get far enough in the story to where you're able to delve the dungeons that you need to brave to get a Deathbringer, I mean, it's pretty far gone at that point. Like, you can pretty much... It's halfway point. It's approaching the end. So, it's not a terrible cheese to me. At least I'm not going to be using the Burning Bow for Ardor. I'm not going to be using like any staffs to power up Ardor. I'm not, you know, it's not going to be like Durandal and Danjuro, and you know, it's not going to be Yagyu Darkblade. It's not going to be all of the great swords that are in the Knights. It's not going to be the Zodiac Spear. This challenge will take a lot of the cheese weapons out of my arsenal just by the nature of the rules alone, and I don't have to worry about, you know, a no magic, because I've seen people try to do a no magic crawl, and that just doesn't even look fun. Doesn't even look like a good time to play that type of a game. I may limit myself to how many mage type characters. Like, I may just say, okay, well, I only get one white mage blend into the party, and I'll only get one black mage blend into the party. I'm kind of already planning, though, for 2 red mage, so I may actually do more than 1 red mage in the party, because I definitely want a black-red, I definitely want a red Shikari, definitely want a Shikari white, and I want either a white knight or a time... I kind of want a red time mage too, because I've played with the red time mage in the last challenge that I ran, and that was just absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's almost like you have the whole world at your fingertips when you're playing a red mage, red time mage. I had Bosch and Ash as red time mages in the last unstreamed playthrough that I did, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. So I've been like looking up Esper combinations, Esper assignments for different job combinations, how to maximize the license, you know, grids for what you expect people to learn. Final Fantasy XII is sort of one of those games, at least the new version, the Zodiac Age, and I guess by extension International, well, no, because the old International Zodiac version, that only lets you pick one class, so it wasn't really hard to come up with a combination because you didn't have combinations. So specifically this Zodiac Age remake of Final Fantasy XII, it's sort of like one of those games that you have to research a whole lot before you even start. Like, I think I'm gonna want to take a good week to think about this and read up on it and, you know, figure it out. If I was to start today, or, you know, obviously I'm not going to start today because I'm finishing up the Chocobo Challenge, and I don't think I'll have time after that to start, but if I was to start today, I couldn't even start in a way that would let me pick jobs yet. Like, I'd probably just load the game up and show you guys how to create a perfect save for launching other challenge runs. Like, you can not choose a class. They give you the option to choose at the front of the game, but you can just decide you don't want to choose. Wow, that was a really bad Chocobo run. But you can just decide that you don't want to choose until you're going to unlock the second class in the game, and that's pretty early. That's the Temple of Bellius, Tomb of King Wraithwall. So once you have that, once you get do the Bellius boss fight, then you can make a save at the crystal outside, and as long as you don't try to leave the Tomb of Wraithwall, as long as you don't walk east, you know, try to make your way back to Rabanastre or anything, then you can pretty much just pick whatever two classes you want and try to grind out the gear that would be pertinent to those two classes while you're in the Tomb of Wraithwall. So it's like a good place to make a save file. And if I was even to start playing the game with as little homework as I have done, that would be the most that I'd be able to show you guys of Final Fantasy XII. So, wow, that was a buzzer beater. 1 second on the clock. What's my bonus going to be now? 30? 40 points. Okay, so 40 points. Must be anything less than 5 seconds or something like that. Because I've gotten like 180. I want a bunch of 180s. That's what I want. Go super high, super fast. Get that beak up to level 99. But yeah, if I end this trophy early tonight, then most likely I'll just go dark, and I'll just probably go online and check out a bunch of facts and do a bunch of reading up on, you know, what kinds of job combinations would be really good for Final Fantasy XII, and I'm pretty sure, you guys, that I have given up on the Zenero and Benero achievement. I don't really feel like doing the game. I've heard a lot of people say that it's super annoying, super hard and aggravating, and it's like, 99% luck, and you know, you can maybe eke out a couple of skill wins, but then it starts going faster or whatever, and inevitably you're bound to mess up. And I don't know, I don't want to put myself through that right now. Rather not. And so the Nero family quest line is something that I also proposed showing you guys. I suppose I could always show you in the future, like if I had just a weird, insane itch to play this one day, because I'm not gonna do a whole new run, and you know, I'm not gonna hold up starting a new playlist just to do the Nero Brothers thing. But you can, I guess, meet up to 10 Nero siblings. Ooh, that was another buzzer beater. I wish I'd have checked down there earlier. But in Memoria, everything you do, like every thing, every piece of dialogue, every time you advance the story forward one tiny little bit, you can go back to Lindblom and interact with the Nero brothers again in the theater district, and they will like have found, I guess, another one of their family members, and they will just keep populating. There will be like 10 Neros by the end of, and I think that there's enough small events in Memoria that you can trigger to where you can get this done like twice over. So if you're bad at stopping each time and after each thing, that you know, you can miss a couple of cues and still have enough left over to where, you know, you won't lose out on all of the Nero siblings. But in general, every time Zidane says a word, every time there is a cutscene or a memory, like a CGI, anything like that, you're supposed to leave Memoria completely if you want to do this quest line. You're supposed to report back to the theater district in Lindblom to talk to the Benero family. And again, this quest line wasn't even known in the Americas until like 2011. I've heard. I've read online that, you know, people, and I'll have to say, I can agree. Like, I didn't know this. I do remember playing in 2012, I think, and I still didn't know about it. And I guess it had been new information that I somehow failed to pick up in a FAQ about Final Fantasy IX, and I played Final Fantasy IX in like 2012 or whatever, and I still didn't know about it, because when I was playing it in 2001, 2002, 2003, little did we know we were about 8 years from figuring that stuff out yet. Like, we had no idea. And I'm not sure when the Japanese fan base picked up on it. I'm not sure if they knew from the beginning or what, but they sure didn't share. They kept it to themselves a little while, or, you know, it was speech barrier, you know. yeah, I guess that's where my thoughts have had me since yesterday. You know, over these past 24 hours, I've been thinking about Zodiac Age more, and which of these trophies I really actually want to do. I mean, I want to have them all done. Who doesn't want to have them all done? But, you know, it's a different question from which ones do you actually want to do. And there's people online, if you look up the Nero family, unlocking the Nero family quest, you'll find it. You know, there's people online who have displayed it, who have done it. I don't have to really be that guy. And if at some point in the future I ever decide that I do have to be that guy, I'll bring that content to you. But, you know, right now it doesn't fit with my schedule. If I had another week off of work, quite frankly, I think I'd be going broke if I had another week off of work. Like, this is, 3 was enough. I'm going back right on time. And yeah, I mean, if I had a little more time to myself, I could probably do that for you guys, but I figure after this Chocobo Hot and Cold, I'll probably just cut my losses, and I'll leave the rest of these Final Fantasy IX trophies for the next time I get super pumped and motivated to play 9. Which could be any time over the next couple of years. I had been wanting to play 7, but the truth of the matter is that I just got done playing 7. I tried a challenge, because again, it's another game I beat multiple times and I have to challenge myself to make it interesting. I tried a challenge that was a two-color materia challenge. So the idea is that when Cloud starts with green magic and, you know, blue all materia, that would be all that he could equip, would be green and blue. Anytime you get new green materia, he would benefit. Anytime you get new blue materia, you know, he could equip that, but, you know, he would just be limited to 2 colors. And actually, for my 2 materia challenge, I ended up stripping Cloud of all of his materia at the front of the game because I didn't want him to be a green-blue character. I wanted him to be a yellow-purple character because I figured he would have access to enemy skill that way, and then he would have access to the underwater materia that way. And I thought that would be cool, but I didn't realize, I guess I forgot how challenging the weapons were, you know, and I forgot what kind of, how advanced your loadout of materia really has to be. So for instance, for Emerald Weapon, I found the 2-color challenge basically impossible to do with the weapons. I've done it all the way up until the last save point in the game, and I'm sure I could just go and steamroll Sephiroth at this point. I do think that you can finish a game with a 2 materia challenge, and I think you can 100% it outside of the weapons. So, like, you know, a 99%, 98% win, technically. Besides the 2 weapons, I'm sure you can do it. I've done the whole game, besides Emerald and Ruby, with the 2 materia challenge. If anybody wants to jump on this and show me how it's done, I challenge you. Go ahead, do it. I would applaud you for sure. I just don't know how anybody would ever do it, because I went to fight Emerald Weapon, being that I felt, you know, this is the weaker of the two, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna need underwater materia, I'm gonna need, well, okay, so what you need for these weapons is Final Attack and Phoenix. Now, I have Final Attack and Phoenix on Vincent, and I picked Vincent because he has the, not the death penalty, the, bunt line, I think? Maybe not bunt line either. There's a weapon that he has that is 2 linked materia slots and 1 unlinked materia slot, and it's double growth. And that's why I picked him to be the blue-red materia holder, because he could theoretically do Final Attack and Phoenix at the same time. Well, actually, by the time you get Final Attack and Phoenix, you are talking about bunt line, you are talking about things that have double growth and also more linked slots. But the early ones are like, I wanted to do added effect and Odin, and added effect and Chocobo, and so I figured the only person, or the person who could do that the earliest in the storyline would be Vincent, and that's why I made him my red-blue character. Well, I quickly figured out that with his low hit points, and with the fact that, you know, when you fight Ruby Weapon, you kind of want the other two to be dead, and you want Cloud to be alive, and then you want him to revive somebody. It's just really dangerous to try to step to Ruby Weapon when, for whatever reason, the challenge run that you're doing has necessitated that you have Final Attack with Phoenix on the person who you want to be dead at the beginning of the battle. You know what I'm saying? So if RNG is bad, and if Cloud doesn't get to revive Vincent soon enough, or, you know, Cloud gets pretty banged up before the rest of the team is back, it's really hard to do. So I kind of was thinking of just allowing a cheat for Cloud only on the 2 weapons, and just making it a 2 materia challenge for everyone else for the whole game, and just for those 2 fights in particular, letting Cloud cheat. Because I continue to believe that it can't be done with a 2 materia challenge. So if anybody wants to show me different, go ahead. What they recommend for Emerald Weapon is they recommend that because of the air tam attack, it does 1,111 damage for each materia that you have equipped. So they tell you to have less than 9 materia equipped on your weapon. So I thought about, like, what do you really need? If you're trying to just only have a few, what are the ones that you really need? You really need Final Attack and Phoenix, and you really need Knights of the Round. You really need to have like, there's an exploit where you can do HP absorb connected to Knights of the Round, and then you can do the counter magic spell, counter, and then have Knights of the Round attached to that, so that when you cast Knights of the Round, you're healing, and then when Emerald attacks you, you're countering with Knights of the Round and then healing at the same time, so you're constantly healing. And then it would be good to also have Mime, and it would be good to also have, obviously, underwater materia, because I don't know how you're supposed to beat Emerald Weapon without the underwater materia. So really, you sort of need materia of all colors, unfortunately. And I don't think that the two-color materia will work for the weapons, but it's a great challenge for the rest of the game. Like, it requires you to be resourceful. You can't just put fire resistance on everyone like there are some Genova fights where if you have a fire ring on somebody, and then if you have an Odin on somebody with a elemental on their armor, you can, you know, basically have everybody resistant to fire. And this two-color challenge sort of prevents that, because, you know, only certain people can wear Ifrit. You know, only certain people can have... Even some people that can wear Ifrit can't combine it with the elemental materia. So, because, you know, some people would be red and blue, some people would be red and green, some people would be red and yellow, some people would be red and purple, you know? Purple is independent. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of had a blast with Cloud only wearing command and independent materia. He had his long range, he had his enemy skill. I even did all of the Battle Square, everything in Battle Square that you need, all of the harder fights that you unlock that, you know, come later. I did those too. Like, you don't need summons to win in the Battle Square. Now, this does mean that I was KOing more and not having a Final Attack Phoenix, you know, and so there was more of a chance of failure, but I did it. I still got all of the Battle Square stuff. I got the Omni Slash, I got, like the, what is the Champion's Belt, and, you know, etc., etc. I think Final Attack materia is actually a part of that quest line, but that is possible if you just bring Cloud in there with independent and command materia. And actually, it gives you more reels on the Battle Square, reels that you actually are happy you want to happen to you. Like, you want to see, oh, red materia broken, because that's, you know, that's just giving you more of a bonus, more of a multiplier, and it doesn't hurt you because you don't have any red anyway. You don't have any green. You want to see green broken, you want to see red broken, you want to see blue broken. I'm overjoyed. The only thing I don't want to see is, you know, the all materia broken, like the all colors, and I don't want to see, obviously, yellow or purple. But even just one or the other is actually not quite so bad. Like, having yellow broken first is definitely worse, but having purple broken is not quite bad either. Like, really, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much. So it really reduces the amount of reels that would limit you in the Battle Square when you're doing a two materia challenge. So, like, Barrett became my blue-green guy. I had Barrett do the cure-all. Yuffie was my yellow-blue girl because I wanted her to steal as well, and steal, sneak attack steal, and, you know, all that jazz. Counter steal, whatever. So I had her morphing with the, you know, What is that weapon? Dang it. Yuffie's weapon that works with Morph. It's in the Gelnica. I'm having a brain fart, guys, but Yuffie has a weapon that works really well with Morph. It's not, it doesn't follow the same equation that everyone else does with Morph, but Conformer, yes, and it's found in the Gelnica, I do believe. So Yuffie's Conformer, I had her, you know, just basically with blue and yellow materials, and it really didn't change anything about how I played with her. And it really doesn't change your ability to unlock any limit breaks, because you could say, oh, well, if everybody doesn't have all spell, you know, an elemental spell with all attached to it, then it would be hard. Oh, well, no, you can use summon. And, well, what if they don't, you know, what if I can't have summon on everybody? Well, no, they could use an enemy skill that is a multi-target. So it really is hard to think of a combination for me that would make it hard for you to get your kills and, you know, get your limit breaks off and all that. I unlocked everything quite well. It was harder in a way to plan my party. It was more of a planning session, though, on who I was actually going to bring with me, rather than what was everyone going to wear. You know, it really... so if you're the type of person that hates to be in the material menu for a super long time trying to strategize, you know, all of the most optimal things that you can put on somebody, and you tend to find yourself fretting over, you know, should I do one more HP plus materia, or is there something that's more pertinent, or whatever. This two color materia challenge could be the way to go for you. It could simplify that process a lot, and you'll be finding yourself thinking more along the lines of, which character do I bring, because I'm going to want a mix of blue-green, I'm going to want a mix of blue-red, and I'm going to want a mix of yellow-green for whatever reason. And if you do that, you can have, for all 9 people, you can have 9 different combinations. So, like, if you go down the line, okay, so we're going to do blue-red, we're going to do blue-green, we're going to do blue-yellow. Now, what doesn't make sense is blue-purple. They don't interact, so you can skip that one. But, like, then go, okay, so red, yellow, red, green, red, purple, and then green, yellow, green, purple, and then yellow, purple, you know, so, I mean, it's, you can have all of the different expressions of all of the colors happen once. Because, you know, that's as many people as you will have throughout the game. And for my money, I think that the worst possible equation is like purple-green, because, you know, you're left with how many green magics are actually multiple target. Especially in the beginning of the game, you have a lot of single target green magics. So that's kind of the worst one. Purple, red it's not underpowered in the fact that, you know, you can still multicast, you can still crowdcast all of your destructive spells or whatever. It's still easy access to getting your limits and grinding your kills, but there are so many better combinations for red. Like, you can, if you do red-yellow, then you have access to enemy skill and summons. You have red-blue, obviously, is the best combination for red to have. It sort of breaks your heart to see red and purple paired up, and it's like, oh, well, what do? I guess I'll do HP MP swap, because my summons all cost an insane amount of MP to cast, you know? It's like, well... and even that is niche. That doesn't really work with the harder content in the game, but... you know, that's the way I did it, was I made sure that I gave everyone a different assignment, so that no two people had the same two colors, and each of the two color combinations was used at least once across the party. Now, if you want to do a two color materia challenge, it doesn't have to be done that way. You can just say, look, I'm going to have each person equip two colors, I'm going to decide. It's kind of like the same thing between, you know, Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Do I want to have my 6 party members cover all 12 of the jobs, or do I just want to pick the jobs that I really want for each character? And as long as you're not cheesing blue-red for everybody, or, you know, etc., I guess it's not that bad. So in that way, it's sort of like a Zodiac Age way of going back and playing Final Fantasy VII. You know, you have your 5 materia colors, and those are your 5 jobs, and, you know, you get creative. There's really only one combination between the 5 jobs that doesn't work, which is the blue and purple, but aside from that, all of the other jobs can pretty much combine seamlessly and be awesome. There will be more overpowered combinations and more underpowered combinations, and none of them would be wrong. None of them would preclude you from doing most of the content in the game. Pretty much just the 2 final weapons. Wow, this long quay is taking a long time to find here. This is really bad. Stinking it up on this run. Oh, boy. But yeah, these have been my thoughts pertaining to gaming and Final Fantasy in particular over the past 24 hours. But I had a certain amount of enjoyment out of the 2 color materia challenge, and as I was getting ready for endgame content and, you know, getting to the crater, and maybe even before that, you know, at disc 2 or whatever, you know, when you come a certain length of the journey and you realize, oh, well, I wanted Cloud to be yellow-purple, but it might actually make more sense if Cloud was the red-blue player. So ever since doing the first 2 color materia challenge, I've been wanting to get back at the 2 materia color challenge and try a different combination, you know, try different combinations on different people, seeing how that works for me throughout the game. But the truth of the matter is that I did that so recently. I did that directly before I started this Final Fantasy IX playlist and streamed it. So technically Final Fantasy VII 2 color challenge was the last game that I played before I entered the age of streaming. And of course I entered late. People have been doing this a long time now, but You know, this is the first time I got myself together. I guess it's fitting. I mean, Final Fantasy IX was the first Final Fantasy I ever played, and I wanted my first to be my first again, you know, in the streaming. So it kind of would make sense too then if Final Fantasy VII was my second one that I ever played. So if it was the second one I ever streamed, that would be nostalgic. But you know, it's kind of like I've done it. I've done it recently, and it's kind of maybe just time to look in a different direction for a while. So I'm thinking about the Zodiac Age, and that seems good. Final Fantasy XII seems good. I'm glad at least one person voted. But that's been an hour, guys, and I'm level 63, so that's about 20 levels. That's like 19 levels that I've gained since I started up today. So, yeah, I think I'll be done with this well before my bedtime here. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Probably have one more video, one more Chocobo extravaganza, maybe two. Let's be honest, maybe two. But I'll see you on the next video, and this has been StiltzkinKupo with Cat and Fan Gamer TV. See you on the next video.